The sports performance webinar. I'm super excited to share this information with you. This has, really been a great topic that I've been excited to share about. And over the years of having, now trained hard at a high intensity, elite level of fitness and sports, I've learned a lot of different things about not only just different sports, but different body types and so many different aspects about training and health and nutrition, that ultimately encompass what we as human beings are able to do from a physical standpoint, and as well as mental. And I want to share with you some amazing secrets that I've learned along the way and continue to do so. So, welcome. Thank you so much for registering. Whether you maybe were watching this live or you had purchased it and then you're watching the recording, it doesn't matter. The fact you're getting your hands on this information is going to be life-changing. So welcome. This is the sports performance webinar for Maximum Health and Fitness. I'm Max Jones, bachelor's degree in exercise nutrition sciences. I've been a personal trainer now for 5+ years, and have had an amazing opportunity to really work with a lot of different people in a wide variety of backgrounds, male, female, tall, short, fat, skinny to start, doesn't matter. We've been really moving forward, and we do these a couple times a year, and this is what we got to present for you today. So a little bit about me and my training experience in the sports and fitness world. All-time powerlifting total. So when we talk about that, just to give you some credibility about who I am, not just I can talk the talk, but I can also walk the walk. My powerlifting total at my leanest, most muscular shape was 1,295 pounds. That's based off of the top 3 lifts, as that is squat, bench, and deadlift. So the back squat, the barbell bench press, and the barbell deadlift. My top 3 total, so cumulative of those 3 lifts, was 1,295. That's a national elite level for 183 pounds in a 20-year-old. That is nationally elite level ranked. I've won 3 powerlifting competitions during college where I received medals, and was on the podium, and that was one of my best scores. At my squat was well over 400 pounds. My bench was over 300 pounds, and my deadlift was over 500 pounds at 183 pounds. I've run a half marathon, and my best time was an hour and 47 minutes, so about an 8-minute pace. And I've also run the Miami Full Marathon, which took a little over 4 hours to run. 40-yard dash time when I was playing sports was a 4.64, so wasn't necessarily a super speed guy, but developed my ability to run very fast in a short period of time. My vertical was 33 inches. I was able to successfully dunk a basketball of 5'10". I am 5'10", but I don't have that on video. So unfortunately, that's something that maybe I'll work towards here yet. Body fat, my lowest percentile of body fat was 6.2%. And that was in the 180 pounds as I was powerlifting. I went and did a bod pod with that. And, that in that part, that is, your top 5% of all people in athletics. 3 triathlons completed, and as well as a bodybuilding show, first place. And now I'm helping others do the same. And here's some images of me that you can kind of look at of different events that I've done, and the physiques that I've had. So I want to start with a quote. I always love doing this. Today I will do what others won't. So tomorrow I can do what others can't. And that was by Jerry Rice, NFL football player. I love this quote because when we talk about sports science and we talk about training, exercise science, what you don't do today is going to be the limiting factor to what you can do tomorrow, right? As this quote says, today I will do what others won't. So when I'm training and I'm doing and accomplishing things in my, my physique and my body's physical capabilities, what I do today is going to give me the advantage in the next day and the next training day and the next training day versus the people that don't. Every rep, every set, every exercise, every rest period that you do all accumulates from a human body perspective and ultimately gives you that competitive edge. So everything matters when it comes to sports science. And that's why this quote's so amazing, because today I will do what others won't, So tomorrow I can do what others can't, because that's really how it works. If you don't do it today, or that person that is putting in the work, you will not be able to be at that physical performance level as they are, as they continue to progress. Even if sometimes, you know, you have different genetics and body types, you all have different starting positions. But at the end of the day, work is always going to beat talent no matter what, because that's how exercise science works. So I love this quote, and hopefully that gives you a good mind frame to start taking this information. So what is the number one most important factor when we talk about exercise science? It's progressive overload. So progressive overload is the pretty much the factor in your training that's going to get your body to adapt and move forward in the direction that you want. So it depends on what your goal is. It could depend on what your sport is, but ultimately progressive overload is your ability to start training, recovery, all components of exercise and human performance, and allowing it to progress, meaning it is the number one most important factor to getting your body to go from point A to point B, from a beginner weightlifter to an advanced power lifter, from a normal natural genetic human body to an elite level bodybuilder, to a normal genetic human capability of walking and running. We can all typically walk and run to some extent, but to be able to run an entire 26-mile marathon in one day, now that takes progressive overload. And that is, the most critical component you want to think about when you're designing training programs and also working out, because there are so many people that, whether it's the general health population that just go to the gym, to maybe just exercise, maintain muscle tone, or if they're trying to really lose weight, there's so many people that they don't understand this concept and they don't know how to track it. And then what it allows you to do is, in the beginning, the progressive overload is you just started exercising, you just started going to the gym. You're going to see physiological differences in your body, whether it's losing some weight, because you've now added a progressive overload to your body, right? It's now doing more. But then there's that component that it automatically switches and it gets used to it. And the progressive overload has to keep continuing. So going back 2 slides, for me to have been able to do 1,295 powerlifting total, 183 pounds, I had to have the perfect amount of progressive overload for years at that physical, stature. To do a full marathon in that amount of time took me months and months, and honestly years, to develop, because I was doing endurance and sports way before that. When I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a marathon, I'm going to go into the training and I'm going to make it happen. So in that case, that's something that takes a long time depending on what sport you're playing. Same with the bodybuilding. To have, my highest weight was 200 some pounds, which took an extremely amount of progressive overload over time and be able to track it properly to get my body to that level. Right. So really important to understand that. And if you have any questions, as always, you can email me and reach out to me on social medias and kind of get more of a better picture for that. So, and another major thing that I wanted to share was the fact of muscle memory, right? So the beautiful thing is, no matter how much time it takes or how much progressive overload it takes we're getting some, we're getting some people jumping in live, but they're late, so I can't get them into the call here, but we'll have to wait anyways. But so with muscle memory, progressive overload is the factor that gets your body to do what you want to do over time. And that's obviously going to take time, right? But muscle memory, the beautiful thing about it is, when you've gone through that process, no matter what your goal is or sport, and however long it takes, right? I mean, you don't wake up an NFL athlete. You don't wake up running a 4.4, right? These are things that take time and energy and training programs to really get to that level. Or you don't wake up a bodybuilder, right? You wake up and, you train and you eat and sleep and rest and repeat. So muscle memory is a beautiful thing in the body, where it takes roughly usually about 1/3 the time to get back to where you were if you had stopped. So if I'm here and I'm a beginner weightlifter and I want to be really, muscular and strong and put on 20 pounds of muscle, let's say that takes you 3 years, right? To just train a couple days a week, just keep doing, life, and it takes you 3 years. Let's say at that 3 year mark, all of a sudden you were bench pressing and you got injured and it set you back 6 months, meaning like you lost a ton of muscle or you did something totally different. It would take you roughly 1/3 the time to get back to that high caliber level that you had built to, because we got to think of the body as an engine and a sponge. When you take it through years of weightlifting, it's going to keep those adaptations for a long time. I mean, I have not powerlifted in almost 2 to 3 years, and I still have a lot of natural strength, even though I've lost so much of the peak level performance. But I've also kept so much over the, typical average of someone that looks like me, my body type, my structure and weight. I can still outlift them even without having to do any powerlifting training. And if now, after having done many different events, if I want to do, let's say, another powerlifting competition and be competitive, if it took me, let's say, 2 years to get to an elite level or 3 years, and remember, I'm an exercise scientist, so I really understand this stuff extremely well and progress probably faster than most. But if it took me 2 years and if I started tomorrow powerlifting again, I guarantee you that it would only take me about 1/3 of the time to get back to that elite level. Like, I would grow extremely fast. My strength would come back extremely quickly, and I would progress much faster than a beginner starting his track for the very first time. So really great thing. And it's just a fun fact and like a real ultimate secret that you want to think about is it's 1/3 the time. So our agenda today, we're going to keep moving. I want to cover a number of different training sciences. They're not all of them. There's so many, but these I thought would be, really good and useful to, to share with you guys. So flexibility, endurance, hypertrophy, strength, speed, frequency, and power. These are really great. And flexibility, and I'll explain in a second, is how durable is your body, right? Like, how durable is your muscles for stress and for training and for adaptations? It comes down to your flexibility, right? I mean, it sounds funny, right? It's kind of like, well, how much can you withstand every week of work or life, right? Is how flexible are you, right? How flexible I am with my work schedule and my life and, eating and all these and sleep, right? The better your flexibility, the more durable your body's going to be, right? And the definition of that is the ability to be easily modified or changed completely. So, the longer a muscle fiber is, it's actually stronger and healthier. So people that don't stretch, people that aren't flexible, people that have poor mobility, poor posture, are going to have a really difficult time doing pretty much two things: getting their body to ever change or look differently or perform differently, and also getting to a healthier state. And they, you won't even be aware of what that healthier state is until, number one, you start stretching more and being more flexible. And it does so many great things. It increases muscle activation. So when you're training and you're more flexible, you're going to activate your muscles faster. They're going to respond better. You're going to perform better, and they're going to adapt better. So you're going to get ahead faster. It improves circulation, right? I mean, the more permeable and flexible your muscle mass is, it's also going to play an effect on all the other structures of your organs and cardiovascular system. So it's going to help with focus, energy, oxygen, body fat levels, digestion, health, you name it. Being more flexible is going to help your body with that, and it corrects posture, right? I mean, I did a heavy bench press workout, right? So when I was benching this past week and I did a heavy workout, I could literally see my shoulders doing this. They were literally rounding forward to the point where my chest was so tight from the workout that it was screwing up my posture, making me look like this, hunched over. So I have to be flexible. I have to stretch and open it back up and stretch those muscles because it can really play an effect on your joints and posture, which you will feel daily if that's not in the right place. And it's also critical for preventing injury. The number one thing you need to start, and this is why I started with flexibility, is you have to be flexible if you want to avoid injury, whether that's just life and you're not exercising a lot. Having good posture is going to prevent you from having knee problems in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, having hip replacements, having ankle replacements, having shoulder issues. It's going to fix that, right? And then from a more athletic perspective, if you are not